Hello and welcome to Higher or Lower, brought to you by Spreadex and oddschecker. I'm your host, George Elek. I've been ill for the last couple of weeks, but I'm joined by two men who are seemingly in cracking form in Dan Worth from WhoScored and Jack Wright. I can't believe this. I was gone for 2 weeks. I was ill. I was in my sick bed. You got Sam Ty in last week to replace me.
We did all we could.
He WhatsApped me on Sunday being like, nailed it, mate, for you. I was like, brilliant, thanks so much. And then this morning I get sent a leaderboard, and I'm third.
Welcome back.
Yeah. I'm on 56% apparently, including Sam's picks.
Apparently.
Both on 56. Yeah, I disagree. You're both on 57, and Dan, given you were on about 12% after a couple of weeks, that means you must be getting every single one right.
Well, pretty much. Last week, only one wrong.
Unbelievable. Must have been a very easy slate.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. Yeah.
This is the show where we look ahead to the weekend's football. We look at Spreadex's, some of Spreadex's markets, and the spread, take the midpoint of the spread and say if we think it will go higher or lower than that value. So a range of markets we'll go through and a range of games, and we're going to kick off with the Friday night fixture between Leicester and Leeds in the Championship and the supremacy. So this is the amount of goals that the favourite beat the underdog by. In this case, Leicester are the favourites, Leeds the underdog, and the midpoint is 0.4. The spread is 0.3 to sell, 0.5 to buy. So if you're buying a 0.5, Leicester were to win by a solitary goal, you'd win 0.5 of your stake, 50% of your stake. If they were to lose by a goal, it would be the reverse. You would lose 50% of your stake. And if they were to lose 1-0, then it would be 1.5 points lost. So that is how these work. But 0.4 is the midpoint. Leicester over Leeds, and we're going higher or lower. 3, 2, 1.
There you go.
Higher.
Yeah, you stand alone.
I stand alone, and I think Leicester have won 13 of their 14 games this season. They've been incredibly impressive, but I can't help but think that we are seeing quite a lot of variance in terms of their actual performance levels. Like when they're at their best, they are the best team in the league by miles. Probably when they're at their worst, they're one of the best teams in the league. But last time out against QPR, it was 1-1. They were against 10 men, against one of the worst teams in the league, who sat their manager after the game, and they struggled to break them down. And it was a Harry Winks unbelievable screamer from 25 yards that won them the game. And that isn't the only time this season where they've edged past the opposition by a solitary goal late in games. And even though I think they'll win the league, even though I think they are a very good side, I think they are going to get unstuck and they are going to start to drop points fairly soon. And against a Leeds side who have so many attacking options, in Crescencio Somerville, you've got probably the in-form attacking player in the league right now. Jorginho Ruta, much maligned last season after his big money transfer from Hoffenheim, is in great form. Joel Peru, maybe not hitting the heights we'd expect so far, but we know how good he is. Dan James having his best individual season thus far. Willie Nonto, there are so many of them, with Ampadu and Kamara as the midfield base, and Daniel Farke, a manager who we know how good he is at this level. And given the way that Leicester play with a pretty expansive style, I think the pace that they've got in that front line should be able to be pretty dangerous. So I want the draw on side. I want Leeds on side. I'm going lower. Now, Dan, you've got a vested interest here in Leicester. You're a Reading fan. Reading have the record points tally.
Yep.
I feel like a long time ago in the Championship. So you want Leicester to drop points, but you don't think they will.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. Like for the pride of my club.
Yeah.
For the pride of my club, I would love for Leicester to start losing, but it doesn't seem like it's coming anytime soon. As you mentioned, they've lost once this season, which is incredible. Top scorers in the league with 29, best defence in the league. Like the superlatives, just easy to reel off for this side. They're undefeated in 5 of the last 6 against Leeds, and I don't see that changing here. But I'm ignoring the draw, and I'm going for Leicester win.
Leicester win. Jack?
First of all, what a roll call that you put in there. The names are going to be on display here. You've still left a few out. So it's going to be a cracking game first and foremost. What a way to start the weekend. We know Dan loves a bit of Friday night fun, so that's the perfect way to start it for him. And I'm siding with Leicester here. I just think they are a phenomenal side this season. So the integration of the new players into what was already a formidable base really at this level is great. Mads Hermansen's come in, best save percentage, even for a side that is doing so well. That's important, let alone his distribution. But the fact they've got the joint best attack and the miserliest defence by some stretch is key to that. I think with Leeds, the one area I'd suggest they've got a few issues is over at right back, and I think that's the area that Leicester will look to exploit that, and they've got some serious talent that can do that over there. Also, knowing the way that Daniel Farke does like to play, I think with Leicester being up against a low block, sitting deep, everyone behind the ball, it's obviously going to be a little bit tougher. Leeds will look to play a bit more expansive. That's what's kind of the demands on Farke there, and we know that's how he loves to play. And I'd pitch this as a bit more of like a Premier League standard game, and we know he's not quite delivered at that level, unfortunately. But some key players come back for Leicester as well, and the likes of James Justin and Casey McAteer as well, who started the season on fire. So for me, that gives them the edge here against Leeds, who have lost away from home already 3 times to Birmingham, Southampton, and last week to Stoke. So Leicester for me.
Leicester for both the guys. I'm taking Leeds in a draw. To the Premier League now, and it is Fulham versus Manchester United. Manchester United dealt another cruel blow, or Manchester United fans, I should say, on Wednesday evening. A lot of speculation around Ten Hag's future. He's currently in post as we discuss this, but we assume he will be come Saturday as well. We're looking at total goals here, the amount of goals scored in the game. Total goals, the midpoint here is 2.75. So we're going over or under 2.75. 3, 2, 1. I'm going lower.
Full house.
Full house. Dan, take us away.
I just like both of these sides aren't really infusing me at the moment. You spoke about Ten Hag. I think he's 5-4 now to be the next manager to go, from as big as 66-1.
Do they stick or twist? What do you think?
I think they will stick until the takeover or the partial takeover goes through, and then they'll reassess. I think at this stage it's hard to see them making an appointment that would be, what they need right now.
We've seen this movie before, haven't we?
Yes. Although, I mean, I think Ten Hag is less culpable than maybe Solskjaer was for a lot of it. But at the moment, there just doesn't seem to be any idea of the way that they're trying to. There's no style of play, and that is an issue.
This is the problem, isn't it?
The movie's quite fun for viewers that don't support Man United, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I guess for other Premier League fans, they'll want that to continue.
The odd one or two.
Yeah, true. This bet, going lower in this fixture, will have landed in 5 of the last 6 between these clubs. That's quite a high percentage. Fulham have only scored more than twice this season, if that makes sense to any of you or anyone at home. And United averaging just 1.1 goals per game this season. So I don't have this down as a high scorer. I always look for fun, and I can't see much of it here.
Yeah, I agree. If you take Fulham's 4 home games so far this season, they scored 3 against Sheffield United. No great shakes there. They beat Luton 1-0. Luton's away record this season, very poor. And they failed to score again in defeats against both Brentford and Chelsea. So from an attacking standpoint, if you take out Sheffield United again, they've only scored 1 goal at home in 3 games. And United, as I say, too many question marks over what they're doing from an attacking standpoint. Rashford woefully out of form. Højlund being asked to settle in immediately and provide goals at a time which is pretty difficult. Bruno massive out of form as well. Mason Mount hasn't settled. I just can't really make a case for there being 3 or more goals here.
Absolutely not. No. Dan, you've obviously been trawling through the historical data. I've been looking a bit more into the strikers. The current details and what horrendous stats it looks for anything forward intent from either of these two sides. Obviously, they lost Mitrovic last season, Fulham, and that was a massive blow to them. Goes without saying, really, although I did say it. 9 goals so far this season. Only Sheffield United and Luton have scored fewer from open play. The 5 goals from open play, Fulham have scored 2 at home. So pretty pitiful. Only Burnley and Sheffield United have taken less shots, so it goes without saying, if you don't shoot, you don't score, as they say. And obviously they've been playing Jimenez up front, who I continue to say I feel sorry for, but I continue to dig out and add another game onto his total of games without scoring. It's 24 now in the Premier League, so so you feel for him, but they're trying different things up there. It's just not working. Bobby Dico-Divarid is their top goal scorer with 2 goals. And then you look at Man United, and Højlund's had a real tough sort of baptism of fire trying to get into this start of this lineup for United and score goals. They're not giving him any chances. The wingers are inverted, so kind of coming into his area. He's taken 11 shots in the Premier League so far this season, yet to score a goal in his 7 Premier League outings. So that sort of says it all, really. United have got a good record against Fulham. I'll possibly take them to edge this, but certainly as far as the goals are concerned, it's going to be a low scorer for me.
Low scorer there. On to one of the games of the weekend now. Newcastle hosting Arsenal. We've got a couple of markets we can look at here. Firstly, it is that goal supremacy market, so the same one as Leicester Leeds. In this case, it's very marginal. Arsenal, the away side, just about favourites. The midpoint is 0.1 of a goal. So again, if you're going lower, you're getting a draw, and Newcastle on side higher is an Arsenal win. It's as simple as that. 0.1, 3, 2, 1. Dan's gone higher.
On my own.
Dan's backing Arsenal.
He's bullish about this. He's happy.
Is he?
He's wringing his hands.
I think he looks terrified.
Yeah, I'm masking the horror.
He fooled me.
I'll start off by saying 85% of Twitter/X, whatever we're calling it, is with you guys.
Good.
Probably because they want the draw on side.
Do you
Shrewdies.
think?
Yeah, I think so. But I'm going against you all. All of the prep I've done here was written before last night.
Okay. What happened last night?
Carabao Cup doesn't matter, does it?
I really hope not, because it was, pretty poor for Arsenal. Somehow lost 3-1, despite West Ham only having 0.45 XG, I think.
Yeah.
XG, innit?
Yeah, who cares about XG? But let's focus on the league. Arsenal unbeaten so far. Aside from last night, Nketiah looks in good form. And I thought Newcastle were potentially starting to show the effects of playing in Europe, but then they blew United aside last night. So,
But that's only United.
yeah, exactly. And we've just said that United are.
And how many of those players are actually going to play on?
Yeah, because it was third string Newcastle side last night, right?
So we're helping you out.
Yeah, helping. Yeah, I really appreciate it. I just think Arsenal win. To be fair, I've got some points here, but I feel like Arsenal win, so I've gone with it.
Gut.
Yeah.
It's a gut one.
Sure.
I just don't think Arsenal should be favourites for this game, basically. I don't think there's much in it. I think Newcastle should be slight favourites with home advantage. Newcastle's XG ratio over the course of the season is the best in the league. Obviously, that's a bit skewed by the Sheffield United results, albeit they did massively overperform their XG on that day as well, as you would do when you scored 9. But yeah, their home form is very good. The XG pattern we're seeing goes back into last season. I think we have to accept now that Newcastle are legitimately very, very good at football and are probably going to be a team who can challenge right at the very top end of the table. I'm not convinced that Arsenal are playing as well as they have done previously. I think they were fortunate to get away from the Chelsea game with a draw. Again, against West Ham, they were fairly poor. I think Arteta wanted to give a proper rest to the likes of Martinelli and Saka, who ended up having to bring on with half an hour to go, which I was surprised he did, given they were already 3-0 down, Ødegaard too. It's marginal, but I'm going to back Newcastle to win this game. I think they should be slight favourites at home, and I think there's just a little bit of just disrespect, I think, in the way this has been priced up for a Newcastle side who are showing no signs of fatigue or no sign that their form is dipping.
Absolutely, that 0.1 is crucial for me here. We're getting the draw on side by going lower, so it has to be. And as you say, Newcastle have been a bit disrespected here. They were a great force, especially at home, in good form. They had a wobble at the start of the season, lost 3 on the spin, come storming back from that. So there was questions being asked, and they've certainly answered them. And you say that the result against Sheffield United has skewed the data a little bit, but you could then also
It's called 8, not 9, I should say.
Yeah, that's fine. I wasn't going to pick up on that.
Yeah,
that's fine. But they also beat Villa 5-1. Let's not forget that. Yeah. That's a brilliant result. Looking better by the week as well. And also a 4-0 last week too, again Crystal Palace. But they're scoring goals, especially at home. 4 clean sheets as well, so the process is all right at both ends of the field, and that was something they built on last season, on that solid foundation. So 4 clean sheets in the last 6, and all 3 of their last, the last 3 home games. So best XG in the league. You've already said, George, as well. Also got the best expected points in the league as well. So all boding well there. Fantastic atmosphere. We know the drill at St James's Park. Should be another cracking game. Lovely one for Saturday night, and definitely wanting both the Newcastle win and the draw on side. I think it's a good selection.
Another thing to add is that Arsenal yet to play a team in the top half away from home. And the only team they played, or the highest placed team they played, was Chelsea, who were 11th. And obviously they were 2-0 down in that game and got back to a draw 2-2. So this is kind of, despite their very good start to the season, it's kind of uncharted territory so far.
Yeah, I think they have been a little shaky. They've been a bit fortunate in those away games, either grinding out a 1-0 win, as they've done a couple of times, or just kind of getting away with it a bit. So, yeah.
Time of first goal now. So this is when the first goal in the game is scored in the same game. The spread is 35 to sell, 38 to buy. So if you think it's going to be an early goal, you'll be going lower than the midpoint, 36.5. If you think higher, then that means you think it'll be a cagier start with a goal coming later in the game. You're going higher or lower here. 36.5, time of first goal, Newcastle Arsenal. 3, 2, 1.
Oh, I'm on my own again. See, after last week, this was the only market that I got wrong. just to bring that up again.
Okay.
So you're
looking to double up on that. Nice.
So I'm going to make the same mistake again. And
You're going to get a tattoo of your picture from last week somewhere, just so you
What, my one good week?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm setting myself up for a big fall from grace. By, as I say, making the same mistakes again this week. Had a look at some of the overall league data. Average time of first goal in the Premier League is 31 minutes this season.
Okay.
So there we go, point over. No, but for Arsenal, their average time of first goal in Arsenal matches is 29 minutes. And for Newcastle, average time of first goal in their games is 22 minutes. So looking at all of that from the 10 games we've had so far, everything's pointing towards an early goal.
Right, Jack?
No, I think you've got a far better argument.
Well, I was going to say, I mean, this time you went with your gut earlier, and this time you've gone with the numbers. I've normally gone with the numbers. This time it's just the gut. It's just a big game between two sides with quite a lot on the line and a lot to lose. A game that arguably both would be too disappointed with a draw.
I think so.
So that just screams cagey to me. And two sides who are defensively just really sound. Those two goals that Arsenal conceded at Chelsea, the only away goals they've conceded so far this season. Newcastle, as we know, their home record is very good. So it wouldn't surprise me if it gets more lively later on in the game. But I think I'll be surprised. And also Arsenal have, in bigger games this season, not started slowly, but definitely haven't looked to press in the way that they sometimes do early on in games against other teams. So, yeah, I think this could be a cagey start.
Indeed. Not a state-based opinion, more a gut shot.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I actually read that and I thought I'm going to steal.
So, yeah, exactly the same thought process as yourself there, George, to be fair. Two very strong defences. I think they'll have a lot of respect for each other, these two sides, and sides that probably normally go out and be, especially Newcastle at home, will look to rip into sides. I think there will be that element of respect and the wariness of the fact they can get hit on the brakes. I think there will be a little bit maybe sparring early on, and the first goal is crucial in that whenever it happens to come, and I think it will then open the game up. Of course it will. So I do think it will come later than earlier, hence why I've obviously gone higher here. And so I can't back up with really any stats on this one. This is more of a gut shot on how I see the game panning out rather than anything else. So yeah.
Great stuff. 3 more games to cover, 4 more markets, and now it is time to go to 2 champions of European football. Nottingham Forest against Aston Villa, where we have a player goal minutes. Ollie Watkins is the man that we're looking at here. He has scored 5 goals this season in really good form generally, away from just the goal scoring. His goal minutes line is 25 to sell, 28 to buy. So this is the case where this is the total cumulative number of minutes that a player scores in. So if Watkins scores after 5 minutes and that's it, then it would make up 5. If he scores after 5 minutes and 25 minutes and that's it, it would make up 30. If he scores just in the 30th minute, it would make up 30. So you can see there the way that it accumulates. 26.5 here is the midpoint. Are we going higher or lower? 3, 2, 1.
George is back.
I thought you said you'd learn and you were only going to sell play goal minutes from now on. Did you buy one last week and get it right?
I think I did,
Okay.
yeah.
We did, but there was the exception.
It was Holland, wasn't it?
Haaland.
Oh, yeah, that is an exception.
He's a good player, to be fair.
He isn't bad,
He's
is he?
alright.
Yeah, he's come on quite nicely.
Right. Well, Twitter agree with you. Let me get that done first to buy myself a little bit more time. But yeah, you mentioned Watkins in good form, averaging an assist or a goal per game. Only 3 players have a higher XG than him. You've got Haaland, Wilson and Salah. The 5 goals he's scored so far this season have come in 73rd minute, 14, 21, 65 and 74. So 3 of the 5 beat this market significantly on their own. Obviously scored a hat-trick against Brighton, so that would have made up quite nicely. I'm just siding with the form. I love Ollie Watkins. I feel like all of my socials and things are plastered with Villa love, and I'm buying into it, particularly for Watkins. So I think, obviously there's 2 approaches here, right? That he scores 1 goal past that minute or he scores multiple. I'm probably siding more with the 1 goal later on, or at least in the second half of the first half, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, hoping he has a good game against Forest and gets on the score sheet as late on as possible.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, for me, this is just a case where he's only scored in 3 games this season because he got a hat-trick against Brighton.
Yeah.
I feel like his game has changed. He's being asked by Emery to do a bit more in terms of leading the line. He's got 5 assists as well as 5 goals. It feels like Villa are more of a team attacking threat rather than relying on Watkins for goals as we've seen in the past. Forest's home record is pretty good. You know, they're unbeaten at home, albeit they have played all three of the bottom three currently, and they haven't kept a clean sheet at home yet. And Villa, of all teams in the Premier League, are overperforming their XG for more than anyone else, even though that isn't necessarily Watkins. So I do think this whole Villa always score under Emery thing might have a bit of a dip at some point. So it's quite a high line. He could easily score, and we're still, if he scores first, the chances are we may still be in the money here.
Same line of thinking, big fan of Ollie Watkins as well and what he does, and the fact that Emery's brought him on leaps and bounds as far as his all-round game is concerned. I'd suggest he's probably now the understudy to Harry Kane for England, so that's a testament to what he's done there. And I just can't help falling for the trap. The we said before, we're not a massive.
We're not falling for the trap, are we?
No, we're not.
Yeah,
so I can't be falling for the trap. But I think Haaland last week was certainly an exception to the rule for me. And generally, when I see lines like this, I will tend to go under it. Yeah, and as George says, although he scored all those goals this season, he's only hit this line 3 times in 10 games. So, nothing more to add really than that I'm going as a lower for this selection.
Nothing more, Your Honour.
Nope.
Cool. On to Luton against Liverpool at Kenilworth Road. Luton really desperate for some points fairly soon. Liverpool performing well for New Liverpool under Jurgen Klopp. Here we're looking at last match goals. This one, the last goal will be scored in the tie. The sell price is 71, the buy price is 74, so the midpoint is 72.5. So you're going higher here if you think there'll be a late goal, lower if you don't think there'll be a goal after the 72nd minute. Going higher or lower, 3, 2, 1. All three are higher. Great. Jack, you can lead us.
Okay.
You've gone last every time so far.
Yeah. Well, what a game for Luton. This is what the dreams are made of, isn't it? For like 10 years ago in the non-league, this is the kind of game.
Be interested to see if they agree come 5 o'clock. Well, whenever.
You took the punchline out of my mouth. Yeah, this dream could turn into a nightmare.
There we go.
For 90 minutes at least. But there's hope to cling on to for Luton, I think, which helps as far as this bet's concerned, in that Liverpool do like to concede a goal. Well, they don't like to concede a goal, they just do concede a goal. And they have done it in all the away games so far this season. And Luton have been fairly decent as far as scoring goals is concerned. Scored in 7 of their 10 games across the board. You know you're going to get a great atmosphere at Kenilworth Road. We know that what that's all about. Again, a couple of ways of attacking this. Are we going to expect Liverpool to blow Luton away? Possibly. Luton have conceded 20 goals across the campaign this season, and we know what firepower Liverpool have got. Mo Salah in sensational form, 10 goals in all competitions this season. Would have had a goal or an assist in every single Premier League game so far, if not for that VAR. I don't know if you caught it, VAR.
I heard about it.
Yeah. So,
when the replay?
Oh, I don't know yet. I think it's to be confirmed. Yeah, probably Christmas Day, I'd imagine. Yeah. And look, he set a Premier League record last week for Liverpool as far as scoring in consecutive home games at the start of the season, and he's also now the European competition top goal scorer for a Premier League player with 43, beating Thierry Henry's record. So lots to love about Liverpool going forward. Of course there is. And so I just feel that they've also got a very decent record of scoring very late goals this season. Away from home, the last goal in their matches this season started with 37, but has since been 78, 90, 90 and 90 with an average of 77 minutes. So for me, I've stole Dan's stats.
Yeah. You have indeed, but I love it all the same, because that's exactly what we're here for, right? Yeah. We're going late goals. Only Sheffield United have conceded more goals in the second half than Luton. Nice. Luton have conceded 14 second half goals, so I think you mentioned they've conceded 20. So that's obviously quite a high percentage. Liverpool scored 7 and conceded 2 after the 76th minute, which I don't know why I went for 76th minute here, considering the market is 72.5, but I have.
There you go, even better.
So there we go,
I suppose if you're buying, that's what you need, because that's the buy price.
Exactly.
There we go.
Yeah, you're doing your own research rather than research.
And you're telling me it correctly.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Luton's home performances this season and results have been way better than away from home, which is interesting because last season it was the other way around in the Championship. They played 4 games at home this season. They've lost 3 of them, but all 3 were defeats by a solitary goal, and they got a point against Wolves. So, and that's reflected in the underlying numbers, where the XG ratio at home is actually kind of a league average rather than, and then away from home it's one of the, if not the worst in the league. And that's almost kind of reflected in Liverpool as well, who've been just absolutely scintillating at Anfield so far this season. They've played 5 games, they've conceded 2 goals, they've scored 3 goals in 4 of the games and 2 in the other. Away from home, it hasn't been quite as good. They've only won 2 of their 5 games, they've drawn 2 games as well. So I'm kind of looking at this, I think everyone will expect Liverpool win, and Liverpool probably will win. But I wonder if this might be a little bit trickier for Liverpool than it looks on paper. And I think that kind of lends itself to a late goal where we know that if Liverpool aren't ahead, the amount of pressure they'll put Luton under will just grow and intensify. They'll commit more men forward, and that as well could open up the potential for Luton to have chances on the break too. So, as you say, there are 2 ways that this can win. Either it's because there are loads of goals, and therefore it kind of opens up as the goals fly in, or it could just be a very cagey game where there's a late breakthrough. I also like this market where I'm not convinced, and the guys at Spreadex will probably disagree with me, that the injury time thing is being factored in, where we are, it's not as pronounced as it was on opening day, opening weekend, but we are definitely seeing more occasions where games suddenly have 10 minutes added on. And given that this is a game where Luton, I'm sure, will try and frustrate as much as possible, where if they are level or in the game, they will look to waste time and they will look to do whatever they can to get over the line. It feels like a good contender for one that could have a lot of time added on come the end. So
it's interesting. It's good as well from on my point of view that we're on the same thought process as far as how the game's going to go. Mainly how the game's going to pan out, and I think that's exactly how I see it as well. And it also brings into play corners in this one as well. So because of the context of the game, and also
Liverpool corners.
Yeah, that's one I'd certainly be looking at.
And one for free.
There you go, you can have that one. Have that one, and possibly bookings as well, because of how we see that game panning out. And I'm not sure who the referee is.
I'm going to have a look. One. If you keep talking, just keep killing time.
There's obviously a few referees that we are hoping.
Who would be your dream on Sunday?
Of course. We've got Paul Tierney. We've got Rob Jones. There's quite a few this season, to be honest. Oh, God, who?
Keep going. He's all right. He's all right for them, to be fair. We've got Andy Madley.
Yes, and he was rated 2nd as far as bookings this season is concerned. So,
tickets, please.
Oh yes.
Okay.
Lots of avenues to explore in that.
Corners, cards, late goals. You've heard it all. On to a game. There's no love lost between these two sides. Probably a few cards in this one too. Tottenham hosting Chelsea. Who'd have thought it would be top of the league? Tottenham hosting mid-table Chelsea, managed by Maurizio Pochettino. There are so many occasions where, like, if you could read out a sentence to like me 10 years ago about what would be happening in football, I'd be like, I just don't believe you. But that's where we are here, and we're going back to the supremacy. Tottenham over Chelsea. Spurs obviously favourites for this one. 0.35 is the midpoint in this game, so we are going lower if you think a draw or a Chelsea win, higher if you think Tottenham will win the game. Higher or lower? 3, 2, 1. Got a feeling I'll be the only one. Yeah. I've been saying all season, I still think Chelsea at some point are gonna be okay. And I actually think this one for Maurizio Pochettino, like, just the narrative is there for this to be a game where Chelsea really step up. And if you think the only other game this season where coming into the game no one's really given Chelsea a chance, it's been a game where they played against quality opposition and they stepped up, was in the Arsenal game where they put in their best performance of the season by miles. I just think, and if you look at the just pure XG numbers of these two teams so far this season, they're very, very similar. Now that doesn't tell the whole story, and I'm not sitting here saying I think Tottenham have been, the same quality as Chelsea. But Chelsea's big issue this season has been putting the ball in the back of the net, unquestionably, and Tottenham have been very adept at doing that. But given that Chelsea's defensive record is pretty good, and they are fairly solid defensively at 0-0, especially often when they go behind in games, that's when things start to open up. I think they've got the tools here to frustrate Tottenham. Tottenham have had a couple of games recently where they've squeezed by, and I don't think they've been at their kind of early season best necessarily. I just think this is one of those games where it's very simple to come to the conclusion with Tottenham top of the league, they're going to continue winning. I think Chelsea are a sterner opposition maybe than we've seen, and it's a bit of a cliche, but like in these derby games as well, it is a bit of a leveller. Like it is a bit of a, it's not as pure.
Out the window?
No,
okay.
It doesn't go out the window. But there's undoubtedly like an intangible element to these games where where teams can perform a bit differently, and these games are generally scrappier. Like the passages of play are a little bit different. The phases are a bit more, more highly intense. So we will see, but I think Chelsea may get something out of the game. But I know you guys and everyone else in the world vehemently disagree.
Yeah. Well, 73% of Twitter definitely disagrees with you. Not that long ago, I sat here and said another North London club would beat Chelsea at a canter, which a few people on socials are enjoying reminding me of. And it's another market where I'm making the same mistake again. I'm not necessarily saying, I'm not going to use the term canter.
Right.
Okay.
Because that's what's being picked up on. But Tottenham win here, right? Surely.
No.
But I like this. George is back. We're disagreeing again. Because there was a bit too much friendliness without George.
But this is like, it's always, I think the thing is here, right, compared to, I would say that the market is almost more aligned with my thinking than general public, where like if you were to ask the majority of Premier League supporting non-betting football fans what percentage chance Tottenham beat Chelsea on Sunday, the vast majority would say over 50%, I would say. I would reckon. However, they are odds against to win this game. So the odds are giving them a less than 50% chance. Yeah. So I would say in terms of the market itself, it's kind of on my side. But for the purpose of this game, like Tottenham are never going to be 1-goal favourites, really. So it doesn't make a massive difference. So yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be backing Chelsea necessarily at the price they are on the fixed, or even necessarily selling them here. But I think on the balance of things, Chelsea and draw is a more likely result, and that is also reflected in the fixed odds market.
Yeah. Yeah, Dan said to me off air that he said he can't see nothing other than a massive Tottenham win.
Cancer.
No, I think, this is one of those ones that you think Tottenham are going to have a little bit of a blip at some point in time. Chelsea are going to finally do what they've been threatening to do all season, and I'm just hoping it's not going to be this particular game and occasion. Tottenham are likely to be again off the top of the table by the time this one kicks off. So they have done that before this season, so they've risen to that particular task. And I just say, you look at Chelsea and those numbers are there, and I just think they're going to keep. Are they going to keep? They can't keep missing these chances, but they keep missing them. And how long is it going to continue for? Yeah. And I just have been impressed with Tottenham, and obviously Ange Postecoglou's just kind of been the darling of the Premier League this season, and continues to give fantastic sound bites, and is
I worry that we're going to ruin him.
Well, it's normally how it works.
But it feels like, because everyone loves him so much, at press conferences now, some people just are seemingly hell-bent on trying to become his mate. And sometimes you can see him ask questions and you can see him die a bit inside when he's asked them and being like, I don't care. Yeah. I reckon he's going to stop being such a good bloke because he knows that's the only way to stop people trying to become his mate. Something you know a lot about.
This bind is terrible. It's been a horrendous journey, but here we are. But yeah, for me, I'm siding with Tottenham myself. I think they've got the players to hurt Chelsea. Chelsea have been relatively tight defensively, but as I said, we saw the regression again last weekend against Brentford, and if they put in a similar show here, then I think Tottenham have got the necessary tools to get the win. And Son back in real good goal scoring form now, and Haaland obviously more goals than him this season, and seems to have a very, very nice partnership linked up with James Maddison. So it's all going well for Spurs, and they're even coping with the odd loss of key players. And bringing in, say, the second string, and it's not had an impact at this moment in time. So, take them to win this one.
Finally, same game, total goal minutes. So this is the cumulative total number of goals scored in the game. I should mention as well, if you fancy any of these selections, Spreadex also have a new customer offer. Bet 25, get 50. T's and C's are on the site. So if you think that Chelsea get something out of the game like me, then you can make the most of it there. But if you agree with these guys and everyone else in the world, then you can get on Spurs.
Sound like Twitter to be against you, George, isn't it?
Interesting question. TGM's 150 is the midpoint here. So selling or going lower would mean that you think that the total goal minutes will be less than that, higher will be more than that. 3, 2, 1.
Oh.
Yeah, sorry, I've ditched you.
Yeah, I was going to say, I thought we had a thing going there.
No, never fought for that one.
Twitter with me, 71%. So, excellent.
Very good.
Yeah. Goodness me.
Yeah.
I probably could have used these points in to back up the last market, but Tottenham have been super consistent this season, and obviously Chelsea have been the complete opposite of that. But the consistency I'm looking at here are 2 goals, at least 2 goals, in 10 of the 11 or the last 11 matches. So 2 goals here for Tottenham. My maths that I'm hoping that they'll be late on. Could be enough. But I also think Chelsea probably score here. So I've got it down as 3 goals, 2 of them in the second half. I'm winning big.
Wow, you got so specific with your prediction there.
I didn't have to do that, did I?
What are the exact minutes that the goals are scored in?
I can't work that out because then I need to use maths.
I just think, and even though I do think Chelsea will turn it around, 150 is a fairly high line for a game, including a side who can't hit a barn door. So if I think that Chelsea are going to get something out of this game, I inherently therefore have to think that Tottenham aren't going to score very many goals. So yeah, I'm going lower.
Yeah. Last 10 meetings I've only seen 21 goals, so under 2.5 goals in 7 and 10 of those, and we're kind of needing 3 goals here, I'd suggest, to get this line. It is a pretty high line, without delving into the exact minutes of that happening, but that's kind of where I've looked at it. So Spurs and Chelsea this season, so just Spurs have just kind of been doing enough really in those home games, and so Chelsea struggling to score. So, but being quite tight defensively, one of the best sides in the league for that side of things. So I just think this will be quite a tight, narrow victory, obviously for Spurs.
Yeah,
great stuff. That brings this episode of Higher or Lower to a close. Make sure you check out the Spreadex site for all of your spread betting needs across sports over the course of this weekend. As I said, there is that new customer offer as well. You can find the link in the description below. Bet 25, get 50 across different markets and sports you can find there. And do check out the oddschecker site as well, or the app for the best prices. Bookie offers free bets and some great tipsters up on there as well. And WhoScored, of course, will provide all of your stats needs. Thank you very much to Dan. Thank you very much to Jack.
Thank you.
We'll be back again next week, looking back at our picks over the course of what we've just done in the last half an hour or so, and looking forward to next weekend as well. Enjoy the football, and please do ensure that you gamble responsibly. And remember that with spread betting, losses can exceed your initial deposit.